Today, we're diving into a psychological horror story that explores the terrifying experience of growing paranoia and the feeling of being controlled by unseen forces. This is the story of Psychosis. Buckle up as we delve into the mind of someone who is losing their grip on reality. Our story begins with a narrator who had always considered themselves a rational and grounded individual. But something changed when they started experiencing a series of unsettling events. It began with small things: an item out of place, flicker of movement in the corner of their eye, and an overwhelming sense of dread that seemed to follow them everywhere. The narrator's life slowly began to unravel as they noticed these strange occurrences more frequently. They would come home to find their belongings rearranged, doors ajar, and lights flickering for no apparent reason. The feeling of being watched grew stronger each day. The narrator tried to convince themselves that it was just their imagination playing tricks on them. Deep down, they couldn't shake the growing unease. Their paranoia intensified when they started hearing faint whispers, soft, indistinguishable voices that seemed to come from nowhere. They would hear these whispers late at night, just as they were trying to fall asleep. Voices were always too quiet to understand, but their presence was enough to make the narrator's heart race with fear. The narrator became increasingly isolated, avoiding friends and family who tried to offer support. They feared that the voices and the feeling of being watched were somehow connected to these loved ones. They started to believe that everyone around them was part of a conspiracy, drive them mad. The more they tried to distance themselves, the more the sense of paranoia consumed them. In their quest for answers, the narrator began to research psychological disorders and paranormal phenomena. They pored over articles and forums, searching for anything that could explain their experience. But instead of finding solace, their obsession only deepened their anxiety. The more they read, the more convinced they became that they were caught in a sinister web of manipulation. One night, the narrator experienced what they believed was the final straw. They awoke to find their entire home transformed. The once familiar space was now a maze of strange symbols and cryptic messages scrawled on the walls. The whispers were louder than ever, and the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. It was as if their worst fears had materialized into a physical manifestation. In a frantic state, the narrator tried to escape. They ran through the darkened streets, desperate to find safety and sanity. But no matter where they went, the whispers followed. The sense of being trapped was inescapable, and their fear reached a breaking point. They could no longer tell where reality ended and delusion began. Eventually, the narrator sought help from a mental health professional, admitting that they felt like they were losing control. The therapist worked with them to address their fears and anxieties, helping them to confront the source of their paranoia. Through therapy, the narrator began to understand that their mind had been playing tricks on them, fueled by their own fears and insecurity. The story of Psychosis is a haunting exploration of how our minds can betray us, leading us to believe in shadows and whispers that may not be real. It's a chilling reminder of the fine line between reality and delusion, and how easily our perception of the world can be distorted by fear. Thank you for joining us on this intense journey into the story of Psychosis. If you found this tale gripping, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more eerie stories from the Creepy Archive. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.